Exactly today, in 1 week, at 5 o'clock, there is the kickoff of the first match. So we are in the mood of talking about football, hopefully, and about the World Cup that starts. First of all, as well, information, English translation. 1 is English, 2 French, 3 Spanish, 4 German, and 5 Portuguese. Before we start, and before I pass the floor, I would like to start with a short video. More of those pictures we're going to see in 1 week's time. Just let me introduce you the gentlemen on the panel. Our president, Joseph Blatter, FIFA president, Aldo Rebello, sports minister, Brazil. Then Eugenio Figueiredo, he's the chairman of the Organizing Committee and EXCO member as well. Then President Marin, president of the CBF and also of the LOC, the local organizing committee, and Jérôme Valcke, you know him, Secretary General of FIFA. I'm happy to pass the floor now to the President, Mr. Blatter, please.
Obrigado. Bem-vindos, boa tarde. For me, it is a great pleasure and an honor to be now in Brazil for the next 5 weeks and to enjoy the atmosphere that we have just had at the video coming in, this samba atmosphere of Brazilian football on the eve of the greatest show in the world. Thank you for being with us, ladies and gentlemen, showing interest to the activities of FIFA, not only for the World Cup, but also for the Congress, which will take place on the 10th and 11th of these months. When I came into Brazil, my first visit was to go to Brasilia and to pay respect to the First Lady, to the Presidenta, Excelentísima Presidenta Dilma Rousseff, and to tell her how much we in FIFA, we are working with the government, the central government, with the other governments, in trust and confidence to deliver the best World Cup ever. But we need also the support, the support of the Brazilian povo, the Brazil. And this is very important, and I'm sure when the kickoff will be done, just in 1 week and 7 minutes, kickoff will be done, that the whole country will be back in the fever, which is football. It has been now more than 60 years since Brazil has hosted the last World Cup. A lot has changed in Brazil, and it is now time to come back here, to come back in the country where La Sélection has gained 5 times the winner of the World Cup. 3 times they won the Jules Rimet Trophy, and they got it finally. Well, in fact, they lost it somewhere, but we recuperated it then, this trophy. And they won twice FIFA's World Cup. A copy of it is here on the stage. The winner. It's the winner trophy. So I say it's the right time to come back now. In the country where football is this social movement where everybody in the mood, in the rhythm of life will be in. And I'm sure everybody finally will be back. It depends naturally also, and I look towards Jose Maria Marin, it depends also on the performance of your national team, La Sélection. This is very important. This is what we have exchanged also with the lady Dilma Rousseff, who said we are ready to take the 6th World Cup. I said yes, but 31 other national associations, they will not be so happy with that. They will have something against that. And this will make this World Cup something very special, because football will be celebrated in Brazil. And Brazil has the opportunity to show to the world what incredible and inspiring place this is, because the television coverage of this event is as high that no other event in the world has had, being cultural, political, or sports. The coverage by the different televisions in a stadium with 32 cameras in the stadium, and to not counting the several cameras for the goal line technology, which are in addition. 34, not 32. 34, thank you, General Secretary, 34 cameras. And the 64 matches, they will be full televised. En fait, c'est aussi une carte de visite du Brésil.
It's also a calling card for Brazil. A calling card for Brazil.
Brazil will be shown to the world, the window to the world. And it's important for the Brazilian people that their country will be presented not only as a football country, but as this lovely country where a lot of tourists every year will come here. We have had today the meeting of the Organizing Committee. The Organizing Committee, in fact, is composed by the FIFA Executive Committee in addition with some other members. And it's easy, therefore, to take any decisions because the Executive Committee is there. We have listened to all the reports. It's not up to me now to comment on that, but I can tell you, listening to the report of Ricardo Trade, of the local organizing committee, we are confident. We in FIFA, we are confident. And together, I close with that, it's a question of trust of confidence. And those, they have been 4 years ago in South Africa at the same time, just 1 week before the kickoff, I used the same words, the same parole, the same trust and confidence. Trust somebody, you get the confidence. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. And now I would like to pass the floor to the president of the LOC, José Maria Marin. Presidente.
Boa tarde ao presidente da FIFA, Joseph Blatter.
I wish a very good afternoon to the president of FIFA, Joseph Blatter, to the sports minister, Aldo Rabelo, the chairman of the organizing committee of the FIFA World Cup, Eugênio Figueiredo, and to the secretary general of FIFA, Jérôme Valcke. And I wish you all a very good afternoon. It's a pleasure to welcome you here in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, the largest city in Latin America and known as the engine of Brazil because of its economic and industrial power. This is the capital which represents our development and our workers. It was chosen to welcome 3 very important events. Today, the meeting of the Organizing Committee of the World Cup. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, FIFA's Congress. And of course, on June 12th, in precisely 7 days, the opening match of the FIFA World Cup. The teams are already arriving. We have 3,500 volunteers working, and every day we feel the atmosphere of the World Cup in the news, in bar conversations, all over the place. Most Brazilians are pleased and looking forward to it. The journey to this date has been full of challenges, but full of willpower to overcome them. I am sure that we are all working together so that this World Cup be a total success and the best tournament ever of all times, because we couldn't expect less from a World Cup in Brazil, the country of football, the football country, 5 times world champion. We'll have a wonderful football cup with joy, passion, and dedication to football. On the part of the local organizing committee, we can state that all teams will be welcomed, warmly welcomed, just like journalists and supporters within the stadiums. We want to ensure that everybody will have a wonderful experience, from the volunteers to the best soccer players in the world. You are all most welcome.
Thank you. And now
Muito obrigado.
I pass the floor to the
E agora eu gostaria de dar a palavra ao ministro dos Esportes, Aldo Rebelo. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Dear President Blatter, ladies and gentlemen, be welcome again to Brazil. Dear Secretary General Jérôme Valcke, welcome. President Eugênio Figueiredo, dear Walter de Gregório, dear President José Maria Marin. These words intend to extend you a warm welcome to the FIFA delegation, to the journalists, athletes, technical commissions, tourists, heads of state and government, in the 20th FIFA World Cup in the supreme party of the most popular sport, football. We wish that you all find here in Brazil a moment of celebration, a moment of partying, a moment of peace, and also a moment to enjoy this game that the talent of some athletes make a work of art. Brazil is thrilled for welcoming this event for the second time. The first one took place in 1950. In the world, haunted by the devils of religious hatred, racism, ethnical hatred, economic difficulties, and human tragedies, we wish that the world find in this moment, or see this moment as a symbol of hope. The world can be different. The world can join people to celebrate together. And fantasy and joy around a sport that has become universal. This is what we wish to have here. Brazil, in addition to being the football country, it was the country that took part in all FIFA World Cups and the winner of most cups. Brazil is the country that has so many stars, football stars. Since Leônidas, Domingos da Guia, Didi, Zizinho, Garrincha, Pelé, amongst so many others, who made so many supporters happy. Brazil is pleased to welcome the stars of world football. And we hope that the world will be able to enjoy this wonderful sport. We hope that you'll have a very good stay here in Brazil. We are aware of our difficulties. We have done our utmost to ensure safety to all of our visitors, a very enjoyable stay, but above all, we wanted to make sure that you would be warmly welcomed by the Brazilian people. We want you to feel at home. We want you to feel welcomed by the country and by the Brazilian people. And we also wish that you take a wonderful memory from here, not the memory of economic imbalances still marking Brazil, but we wish you to remember a country still fighting to correct its inequalities, and a country which has a definite vocation to welcome all of our visitors. Feel most welcome here in Brazil. Muito obrigado. Antes de passarmos para a sessão de perguntas e respostas, nós acabamos de lançar uma campanha de mídia social, convidando todos à volta do mundo para combater o racismo, postando mensagens no hashtag Diga Não ao Racismo, Say No to Racism. Convidamos todos os senhores e os seus familiares a colocarem esse hashtag. É muito importante usar o hashtag Say No to Racism. A segunda coisa, antes de eu passar-lhes a palavra, nós vamos falar a respeito do Brasil, nós vamos falar a respeito da Copa do Mundo. Por isso que nós estamos aqui nesta conferência de imprensa. Mas nós não podemos...
You have to accept that we can't say anything about this. Everything is speculation. It's all about what would be if. You received a statement by Michael Garcia that went to all you. I just want to read it again. After months of interviewing witnesses and gathering materials, we intend to complete that phase of our investigation by June 9th. So, and to submit the report to the adjudicatory, sorry, that's a difficult word, chamber approximately 6 weeks thereafter. The report will consider all evidence potentially related to the bidding process, including evidence collected from prior investigations. That's what Michael Garcia said. We can refer to it and no more. So if you start to ask questions, I just have to read it again. All right? So we start, as always, just tell us your name and the media you're working for and wait for the microphone. And sorry for this difficult word. Yes, over there, please. Here.
Hi, Rodrigo Matos from WAL website. My question is for to Mr. Valky. We heard a lot of confidence in the speeches, but we know, I've been in the stadium yesterday, we know there is a lot of things to do. So I'd like an update a week to the opening, that what is missing and how FIFA can be so confident. And besides that, there was a strike today that almost stopped Sao Paulo. Are you worried about this kind of movement that could impact the opening day if it happens in the transportation and also in the traffic?
If you allow me, I will ask Aldo Rebelo to answer the question about the strike, because he's the one who can explain what can be done in order to make sure that at the opening game, if it would happen, it will not impact the organization of the opening game. Coming back on your question, I mean, the general feeling is that we have done a lot of things. We have done, I would say, the local organizing committee, the government and FIFA, all what we need in order to ensure that the World Cup will start on the 12th of June, and the teams which are arriving, I think we are 4 or 5 teams now in the country, they are getting the best team-based camp and the best training pitches to prepare themselves to play for the World Cup. It's true that if you go to Itaquera Stadium, it looks like there's around the stadium quite a lot of work still going on. But I would say that it's quite normal. And it's even more normal when some of the stadiums were delivered a bit later. And that it means that we had to do some work on top of what is done normally during this exclusive period for FIFA. In the stadium, they have still to do and finalize the installation of few seats in one of the stadium. They have to install the generators in other stadiums. So there is nothing where we are at risk for any of the games which will take place over the next during the first week of the competition. It's true that the first week of the competition is the most challenging one, because there are a number of facilities which have not maybe been used at 100% up to now, and there will be top games where we'll use them at 100%. So it's true that we will look at what's happening during this first game, but the feeling you had from the President Blatter and from the President Marine is the feeling which came out from the report of FIFA's team as the report from the LOC team. I mean, we are in control. We are not afraid about the next days. We are in control, and even when there were heavy rains in some of the stadiums, we are still in control, and all will be installed. The main challenge was to make sure that you will have all what you need, the media, because that's where there were quite a lot of delays, and that all the media tribune will be ready as all the technical installation. But I can tell you that what you need will be in place for you to do your work. Thanks.
As senhoras e os senhores sabem que
You
a organização da
certainly
Copa
know that the World
aqui
Cup
no Brasil
organization,
envolve
the
esforço do
local
comitê
committee,
local,
involves not only the local organizing committee established by FIFA, and there are members of the government. There are members of the government at the local organizing committee,
se divide em
and
3 esferas
the
com
presence.
responsabilidades distintas. A União, que participa com o grupo executivo da Copa, coordenado pelo Ministério do Esporte.
There is the Federation, Brazilian
Os
Federation.
estados, nas 12 unidades da federação, há em cada deles um representante e um responsável designado pelo governador para ajudar na organização da Copa. E as cidades-sede, os municípios, também, cada uma delas tem uma secretaria de Copa. E nós preparamos todos esses entes, junto com o comitê organizador local, fazendo as reuniões que nós denominamos de planos operacionais.
Ministro, temos problema de tradução.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay. So, I'm sorry.
Nós temos
So we have
3 esferas.
the 3 spheres of government taking part in the organization. We have implemented operating plans. We looked for details. We helped monitor the stadiums, airports, public safety, and in each one of the cities, there are responsible people. Sometimes, they belong to the federal level, for instance, in the case of airports. But public safety or public security is up to the local state, and each city is in charge of urban mobility. So each problem has been anticipated, the solutions have been anticipated. So I believe that will be up to the challenge in all these domains. I think we'll meet the expectations of the world.
Lady, please. Yes.
I have a question for President Blatt. There's less than 1 week for the World Cup, and you're very confident about the preparation of Brazil. And I want to know, is there still any problems that you are still worried about for the preparation of Brazil? E também uma pergunta para o ministro Aldo Rebelo.
Also a question for Minister Aldo Rebelo. It's the same question, in fact. Do you think that Brazil is really prepared for this World Cup? And is there any problems that still concern you?
Thank you for your question, but I think that the Secretary General of FIFA on one side and the Minister of Sports, Aldo Rebelo, they have just given the last news about the preparation, and they have expressed on both sides their I would say their satisfaction and that everything will be ready on time. I have said also at the very beginning, it's a question of trust and confidence. There is still 1 week to go. They are not playing in all the stadia at the same time. We have had such problems in other organizations. I am an optimist. The FIFA Executive Committee is also optimistic, and we are looking forward now to a successful start of the World Cup, a kickoff, and I'm sure after this kickoff it will be another ambience in the country, better in the good one.
Senhoras e senhores, quando se trata
When we're talking about
grandeza,
an event of the magnitude so large as a World Cup, there is no way
retirar
you can
certidão ou diploma de preparação
award a diploma of preparedness, put it on the wall and say, I'm prepared. Preparation has to be proven day by day. That is, you have to submit
todas as esferas
all of the different areas
exigidas
required
funcionamento
for the operation of the country, of the city, of public services. For such an event, you must be submitted to tests every day. The stadia can have 1 or 2, 3 test matches and say, well, the stadia are tested. And you can have 4, 5, 6 matches. The delegations, the tourists, the population, ladies and gentlemen, the journalists, you will need public security all day, every day, 24 hours a day. So, oh no, in the afternoon there's no public security. No, transportation has to work under, let's say, operate under appropriate conditions. At every moment, people may need the transportation, either taxi or the airport or the bus station, roads, highways. They will have to be operational permanently. Health services will have to be available to people, to tourists, to delegations. That will have to be available 24 hours a day. So I'm going to say I'm not going to put a diploma on the wall in my office at the ministry, say, this is my diploma of preparedness. We're all prepared. No, we have worked a lot. We have mobilized all material and spiritual energies at our reach so that things could be closer to what is expected by all. And we carry on with the energy and the tension mobilized so that everything that is necessary for the World Cup to be operational and run well all the time.
Here from Bloomberg, and then David Bond from BBC. One question, please, yeah?
Mr. Blatter, not a question about Qatar, just about the FIFA Executive Committee. I spoke to Domenico Scala, your Audit and Compliance Director, about FIFA this week, and we published an interview. He said the biggest single risk that exists to FIFA today is the Executive Committee, and the only way to get rid of this risk is to introduce term limits. What do you have to say about that subject? Thank you.
I think this is a saying of Domenico Scala. He's in the room here, I think. I don't know if he will start a discussion with you or with me, but I can only tell you that age limit and limit of mandates are the remaining points of the first part of the reform process that we have started in 2011. And these two items are on the agenda of the FIFA's Congress, and it will then be decided by the 209 associations in the Congress of the 11th, because on the 10th we make an opening ceremony, but on the 11th. It's on the agenda. It's on the agenda. And so what? Listen, my opinion is that we have already had this on the agenda in Mauritius, and then the Congress, that is sovereign, has said, no, we will not deal it now. We will deal it in Sao Paulo, and now let them deal it. Let's do it. The Executive Committee, anyway, was not able to bring a concrete proposal, nor in one, neither in the other. So then let's the people decide on that. That's democracy.
David, please. Here.
President Blatter, David Bond from BBC News. I'm sorry, I heard everything that Walter said, obviously, about the Garcia report and Qatar, and it's difficult for you to say anything until that inquiry is complete. But I just wanted to ask you this. What message do you have for the people of Qatar who might be looking at everything that's being reported and what people are saying, such as Michel Platini, who said if these allegations are proven, then there needs to be a revote. What do you say to them to reassure them about the future of the World Cup in their country?
Again, this is a matter we have on the agenda of the Executive Committee in 2 days. There will be a report on the Congress as well, because it is an item that really is on the actuality in our disturbed world, I have to say, and also I have to say perhaps a little bit disturbed world of the media, because this matter of the go backwards on all these details, whatever has been brought towards now in the media, it is by the Ethics Committee of FIFA, and I'm not making any comments on that. The only thing what I can say to the Qataris, that in March this year, we have, again, the Executive Committee has said we do not put into question the World Cup in Qatar, and we are now waiting the results of the investigation which has been made by an independent authority. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Mr. Blatter, over here, Brian Swanson from Sky Sports News. Just to be clear on this, if corruption allegations against Qatar's bid are proved, should there be a revote?
Let me answer.
Okay.
Let me answer. I am not a prophet. That's all. So we wait the results and we will see what will happen.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it's yours. Yeah. No, here, in the back. Yeah, bitte. Yeah, you. Can he have a mic, please?
Good afternoon. My name is excuse me. I'm Andrew Downey from Reuters. This is the question, I think, for Mr. Valk. You said you're in control. You have everything done that you want to do. You're still working hard. There's a lot of issues that perhaps are out with your control, such as a lot of the strikes that have hit Brazil in recent days. Bus drivers have been on strike. Police have been on strike. Metro workers have been on strike. Does this concern you? Could this be a problem or an obstacle to the smooth running of the tournament?
Again, I think that the minister talked about, and it's always difficult to say what would be the impact on any event taking place when there is a game. I mean, less event will take place around the organization of the game, the best it would be to make sure that all is working perfectly. But we have been working with the government to ensure that the access to the stadium and all for all parties, meaning from the teams to the fans, to the media, the officials, would be organized in a way that whatever would happen, it would be possible. So again, we always say that you can have things happening in Brazil at the same time the World Cup will be organized. We have just to make sure that both events can take place without impacting the other one.
Next one here. No.
Mr. Blatter, Kami Enzerum, Channel 4 News. A World Cup finance question, if you may. I just wanted to put two figures to you. Mr. Valka previously said, I think, that it's predicted the revenues for this World Cup will be around $4 billion. Another figure, a FIFA analyst suggested to us, I know you don't publish the individual ExCo remuneration, but he put your salary at around 10 million a year. Can you give us some facts around these two figures? If they're not correct, what are the correct figures? And given the protest that we've all seen over the last year here in Brazil about the money spent on the World Cup and the money that FIFA makes, how do you justify how much money FIFA and you in particular, Mr. Blatter, make? Thank you.
I will just answer. We have the financial report, which is ready for the Congress, and you have all figures in this report. That's all what I can say. The General Secretary will say a little bit more because I am not involved in the financial matters when it comes to the budget and so on.
Firstly, I want to say that I think, Marcus, we are more at 4.3 billion and not 4.5 billion. So it's not 4 billions, 4.5 billions. And in this, from these 4.5 billions, altogether the World Cup has a cost around 2 billions, the World Cup itself. And you have around a bit less, I think, than $1 billion, which is directly spent into Brazil by FIFA, and another $1 billion, which is about all what we have to pay to the teams and various costs we have when we organize the World Cup. So half of the money we are making, more or less half of the money we are making, is going directly back to the World Cup. Then there is Domenico Scala, who is there, who can answer your question. Also, when it's about the financial report, but what I can say is that definitely the second figure you gave about the president of FIFA is totally wrong.
No. It's, please let go to the next question. You just heard the answer. And last question here, please.
Yes, good afternoon. Brazil was chosen for the World Cup in 2007. Two questions. In 1 week to go, you are satisfied with the result? Why it happens, the delays, and what the World Cup in Brazil can teach for the next ones? Thank you very much.
So when it's about the delay, I will ask the minister to answer, because I think he's the best one to answer the question why, if there were delays in some part of the organization of the World Cup. That we are satisfied, I mean, we'll be satisfied, I think, on the 13th of July at the end of the final, and that's where you can express your satisfaction, and that's when the FIFA president will be able to give a note, as it's happening either for the Olympic Games or for the World Cup, in a way, to give a note to the country who has organized the World Cup. And it's Brazil, just to answer the first part, it's Brazil who bid for the World Cup, supported by the other 9 South American countries. It's Brazil who was the only one bidder for the World Cup 2014, because we were still in the rotational system at that time. So Brazil present a bid which was approved by the executive committee members and received the organization of the World Cup. But again, at the date of today, being 1 week away from the beginning of this World Cup, we are confident that we will, and that's, I would say, the role of FIFA's administration and the role of the local organizing committee and the role of Luis Fernandez as being the coordinator for the government, we will be able to deliver the World Cup. Each country is different. You cannot compare. I mean, they are our friends from Russia. They are listening to all what's happening in Brazil, and I am sure that we'll also face some problems in Russia. There will be maybe different problems, but the World Cup is a difficult event to organize, and it's always a challenge, whomever is organizing the event.
Ministro?
Well, Brazil is not the only country in the world to have problems. All the countries in the world, without any exceptions, have had, have, and will have problems as serious or maybe more serious than the problems in Brazil. Recently, there was a tournament held in Europe with a beautiful opening ceremony. And that was in a country which is facing huge difficulties today. And we feel sorry for them. Now, what delays do you mean? Delays in Brazil, or most delays, the most serious delays have no relationship whatsoever to the World Cup. Of course, we have an infrastructure that causes problems, not only in urban mobility, but also for the economy at large. Well, we are aware of them. We know they are there. We do have problems of public security. We're aware of them. Others have other kinds of problems. We have problems in the streets. Some countries face security problems at the airports, at the underground, war fronts, and so on and so forth. We do have public security problems, but what we tried and do was to make an effort to try and solve some of those problems, improve some of them, anticipate solutions, as for instance in Cuiabá, We are doing a light urban vehicle. You know, according to the mayor, it might have taken another 20 years, but that was forwarded, that was anticipated. We did the infrastructure, we prepared the courtyard for the wagons, we imported the wagons. Unfortunately, the vehicle was not ready for the World Cup. The rails were not all laid, but it will be ready, they will be ready for the end of the year. That is to say, the World Cup helped forward or anticipate some urban mobility works. Some were delivered. Since I took over the ministry in November 2011, I have been delivering urban mobility works. The first was a number of highways in Belo Horizonte, inaugurated with the mayor and with the governor, named after our late Vice President José de Alencar, and since then we haven't stopped. The stadiums which were not ready for the Confederations Cup are ready now. Well, of course, there were some delays, but they are there, ready to welcome the World Cup matches. They are comfortable, they're modern, they're safe, just like the best in the most civilized and developed countries in the world. We do have those stadiums, and we're trying to fill our gaps every day. We're trying to overcome social inequalities, infrastructure problems, and after finishing the World Cup, we shall go on with our effort to make this country better and fairer.
Thank you, Minister, for this final word. Yes.
I just want to add here something, because finally it's a philosophical question where to organize the big competitions. And in this case, I'm speaking about the World Cup. So far, concerning the World Cup, we have always had many, many contenders to organize it. When we say in Brazil there was only one, it's not correct, because at the beginning Colombia was also in, and then they have decided to have only one. But there is a list of requirements that goes together with the World Cup. When you go now to the World Cup 2018, we have had 6 associations in Europe, they wanted to have it. And we have had 5 in Asia. They wanted to have the World Cup 2022. And I remember when Brazil got the World Cup, what fiesta you have had in the Copacabana. It was the biggest fiesta in the world. And then something changed somewhere, because this is a big event. And here in Brazil, it is a big country. It is a continent. And it is impossible to make everybody happy. You cannot make everybody happy. That's something nobody can do. And you can look to my colleagues in the IOC. The difficulties they will have now to get organizers for the Olympic Winter Games, and even sometimes summer, but the Winter Games. And why? Because there's a lot. Nowadays in our world, the world has changed. The world has changed, totally changed, and there is everywhere in the world. There are people, they are not happy. They are not happy if you have the World Cup. They are not happy if you have the World Cup. What they want, they want to be present and to say something. And here, this is the whole social, cultural aspect of a big, big competition. And don't forget that the World Cup, FIFA's World Cup, is the highest level competition in the world. I just said it before. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Then everybody, we cannot make everybody happy. This is all the philosophers in the world, they have written books on that. It's impossible. Happiness for everybody, it's impossible. But what is possible? What is possible is solidarity. And here it is solidarity. When you go to a country to organize a competition, like now in Brazil, and football shall connecting people and construct bridges, then asking for solidarity. Bring people together and they will be happy. And they will be happy, I'm sure. Thank you. Thank you for your interest anyway.
Thank you for the closing remarks, President. We're going to see each other at the Congress. In the meanwhile, check our media channel and use our media services. Thanks for being here and have a nice day.